He's got me.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Can we talk with you outside real quick?
I'm fine.
All right, they're asking that you leave.
For what?
They said it made, are you asking to leave?
Yeah, I'm saying for what?
Violation of their policy, any disruption per their policy, and they have it pulled up to be able to show you guys that you can legally record and you can do all that stuff. They just now called because of their violation of policy, and in their policy they can ask patrons to leave once policy is done. Like if they ask somebody to do something and they refuse their request, they can ask people to leave. For instance, when they have people like stand on chairs, that's outside of the policy. If people are running inside, or if they're yelling or something like that, and you're not doing that.
Yeah.
But because of the sign and that they've asked you to leave is what they're saying is a violation of policy.
Well, none of that's happened. And so you can have yourself some pretty serious issues. First of all, you can't just ask me.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. What you're about to witness is another perfect example of how ignorance of the Constitution collides head-on with citizens who actually know their rights. This incident unfolds inside a public library, a government-funded building where First Amendment protections are at their strongest. Officers approach a man who is doing absolutely nothing illegal, claiming that vague policies somehow override constitutional rights. Even worse, the same people who called the police were themselves exercising those exact same rights without consequence. From the very beginning, it's clear this is not about the law. It's about control, discomfort, and selective enforcement. The officers attempt to justify their presence by citing disruption, yet admit there was no yelling, no interference, and no disorder. This sets the stage for a confrontation that exposes just how fragile unconstitutional authority becomes when challenged by facts, logic, and the Constitution itself.
Hold on a second. I'm going to explain myself here before you get yourself into some serious trouble. That would be a First Amendment violation all day long, because everything you just said there, you said I'm not doing any of those things. What the issue is because you said specifically this is what you're calling a sign right here. They're saying that I'm petitioning in here. That's a petition right there. That lady's hat right there, by definition, is a petition. Matter of fact, look at her recording me right now. Second of all, you're trying to say that I'm a disruption. There's a huge issue with that. And the issue is the event just took place. It came and went, and I stood in here silently, not a disruption. If it would have been a disruption, the meeting wouldn't have happened. Third of all, I am allowed to record in here, and other people are as well. And they are recording, the library is recording, and I can open records request that right now and get that footage from the library. So if the library can record, then I can. And fourth of all, who's even said that I'm recording? That's a huge leap on your guys' part, isn't it? So I'm standing here with a question when other viewpoints are allowed. So again, that would be a violation of my First Amendment right. Freedom of speech. It would be a violation of freedom of press. It would also be a violation of assembly and redress of government. It would also be unequal protection under the 14th Amendment, the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, because these viewpoints are allowed in here.
As the conversation escalates, the citizen calmly but firmly dismantles every excuse being used against him. He explains, step by step, that standing silently with a message is not a disruption by any legal definition. The officers acknowledge that no policy violations occurred, no running, no shouting, no interference, yet still insist the library asked him to leave. This is where the real issue surfaces. A government employee asking someone to leave does not magically make it lawful. The citizen points out the hypocrisy immediately. Others are recording, wearing political messages, and openly expressing viewpoints without interference. He highlights the dangerous precedent being set: viewpoint discrimination. This is not confusion. This is selective enforcement. When government agents enforce feelings instead of law, they step directly into constitutional violation territory, and the citizen makes it clear he will not be intimidated into silence.
With you guys having an issue. So if you want to move on that, be my guest.
I have an issue.
Don't matter. I ain't done nothing wrong. I grant you, if I would have been up on a chair, jumping, yelling, and running, that's called a disruption. Standing silently with a message is not a disruption. So this is called a constitutionally protected activity. They cannot ask someone to leave a public building while engaged in a constitutional protected activity. If you try to trespass me for it, we'll add a Fourth Amendment violation on that as well for an illegal search and seizure of you.
We haven't detained you at all. We just asked if we could talk with you outside, was the question.
So are we done then?
I don't know yet. I'm just having a conversation with you, and
I've explained it. I've
I
explained
feel
it
like
to
we're
you.
having a pretty good conversation.
Yeah, because I just educated you.
Sir, everything that you said, I'm understanding.
Of course, because that's called the Constitution.
Agreed. And we've already explained to them that you can legally.
Have you done that?
I explained it to them.
You didn't mention that one bit to me right now.
But what I'm telling you is the reason that they're asking you to leave was because of their policy in reference to what was occurring, because they have an area for when people want to demonstrate.
Will you do me a favor then?
Yes, sir.
Go back there and tell them to show that policy.
Now things get serious. The citizen lays out the constitutional violations one by one. First Amendment freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, and the right to petition the government for redress of grievances. He even brings up the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause, explaining that allowing one viewpoint while suppressing another is unconstitutional discrimination. The officers attempt to downplay the situation by claiming they only want to talk, but the damage is already done. When police initiate contact based on protected activity, it becomes a constitutional issue whether they intend it to or not. The citizen warns them clearly. Attempting to trespass or arrest him would add a Fourth Amendment violation for unlawful seizure. This isn't arrogance, this is education. And it's painfully obvious that the officers were not prepared for someone who actually understands the law they swore to uphold.
Their ass because the Constitution trumps that.
Okay. I can do that. I don't think they will do that, personally.
So if you think some policy, if you're going to follow some policy over the Constitution, you're going to have some serious issues on your hands there. What's your name? Sergeant what?
Johnson.
Sergeant Johnson. You're going to have some serious issues. What's your name?
Officer Crooks.
Officer Crooks. You guys are going to have serious issues on your hands if you think some policy can trump my First Amendment rights in here right now.
Okay.
And all these commie liberals, they know it as well, or at least they should know now. This is a public space. They all were granted the same privilege of recording. And matter of fact, the only person that disrupted the meeting was a lady turned around to me and said, while the event was going on, can I take your picture? I didn't respond, and she took my picture.
Every morning, Maddie drinks coffee while eating breakfast with a sport. I love sports, says Maddie. It's not a spoon or a fork, but kind of both. That way you only need one utensil. Does anyone else use a sport? She was just asking me what a sport is.
So she disrupted the meeting, and she was allowed to do something that you guys are in the library trying to say I can't do. So that's called unequal protection. Filming in public is a right.
At this point, the officers fall back on the tired excuse of policy. But policy does not trump the Constitution, ever. The citizen bluntly reminds them of that fact, making it crystal clear that government employees do not get to invent rules that override constitutional protections. He calls out the library's so-called designated demonstration area, explaining that silently standing with a message is not a demonstration requiring permission. Meanwhile, the same individuals who complained about him are freely recording, speaking, and interacting without restriction. One individual even disrupted the event by taking his picture, yet faced no consequences. That contradiction alone destroys the officer's argument. What we're seeing here is not law enforcement. It's right suppression disguised as procedure. And the citizen refuses to back down, because backing down would legitimize unlawful authority.
Right of every citizen to be able to contact another person or talk to him?
I don't know what that's got to do with. Yeah, sure. Well, what's that got to do with anything?
You're saying that I'm going to have an issue with the Fourth Amendment when I come to talk to you.
Oh no. I'm saying if you're going to get to the point where you're going to arrest me for any of this, you're going to have the Fourth Amendment issue right there as well.
Okay. But all we've done now is we're just here having a conversation, right?
Yeah. We shouldn't even be having that. You should already know everything I just told you, brother. You should know everything I just told
I'm
you.
aware of everything, of all of that for sure. But we still, if somebody calls the 911 line and says one thing, I mean, there's two sides to every story, right? Getting your side of the story, what occurred in here, is what I was wanting to get. So you're saying that you have just been sitting here and there's been no disruption, nobody's come in here and asked you to leave, like they were talking to you without, and then you just weren't responding to them. Is that all that's occurred today?
What I said is the most proof that you need in all of this of it not being a disruption is that the event that they said I was disruption at happened. It came and it went. So by definition, there was no disruption because the event happened.
Okay.
I mean, I can't make it any clearer to anybody else on that one. The event that I disrupted just happened while I was in attendance of it standing silently.
Would you want to make a written statement about, because we have to do a report no matter what, do you want to make a written?
The officers attempt to reset the conversation, claiming they're just gathering information for a report. But the citizen isn't buying it, and he shouldn't. Police do not need reports when no crime has occurred. He correctly points out that the very fact the event continued proves there was no disruption. A disruption, by definition, prevents an event from occurring. This event happened, start to finish, without interference. That single fact alone dismantles the entire call for service. The officers admit they're responding to a 911 call based on feelings, not facts. Two sides to every story, they say, but only one side is backed by constitutional law. The citizen refuses to provide a written statement because he understands the situation clearly. No crime, no violation, no lawful authority to remove him.
Statement about what occurred today in your own words.
What are you reporting?
Anytime we have contact with somebody, so this will be just info on a 911 call. That way you can have the case number as well to report.
You can just write citizen educated me on the Constitution and I left. That would be enough. Otherwise, what are we even talking about right now?
We're talking about you sitting in here.
Yeah, but why? What, these people are sitting here, you're going to go talk to them as well?
I've talked to several people.
Are you going to go talk to these people sitting in here as well? They're not doing anything different than what I'm doing right now, just sitting here.
Well, they are doing something a little bit different. They're engaged in color.
Hey, man, it's all right, man. You can tuck tail and leave, man. It's all right, brother. It's all right. It's all right. It's the Constitution. It's a beautiful thing, man. You don't have to be embarrassed by it. It's all right. You got educated.
I totally agree. So, all right. Well, it's nice to meet you.
It's amazing. You guys sat out there and talked to them for like 35, 40 minutes, but I can get this delivered to you. It actually only took about a minute to deliver it to you. You wanted to kind of resist it a little bit more. But what exactly were you guys? I'll find out. What exactly you guys were talking about there. Well, this conversation's going way longer than it needs to. I educated you, 10 minutes ago on this.
I like the joke.
What's there to talk about? I haven't done nothing wrong. You guys gonna?
Weather outside?
Oh no.
Just like you can walk up and talk to us, we can come talk to you. They haven't never told you you're detained or anything like that, right?
As the encounter winds down, the power dynamic has completely flipped. The officers are no longer asserting authority. They're listening. The citizen calmly explains that this interaction should never have happened in the first place. Police officers are expected to already know the Constitution, not learn it from the public. The tone shifts from confrontation to reluctant acknowledgement. The officers confirm that the citizen was never detained, never arrested, and never lawfully ordered to leave. That alone speaks volumes. When officers retreat behind phrases like, just a conversation, it's often because they know enforcement would not survive legal scrutiny. This moment perfectly illustrates why knowledge is power. The badge does not override the Constitution, and when citizens stand firm, unlawful authority collapses fast.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
Well,
And do all the, yeah.
I'm guessing that you don't want to, like I said, my name's Sergeant Johnson. This is Officer Crooks. What was your name? I'm sorry.
What's your badge number there, Sergeant Johnson?
1206.
What's yours, Officer Crooks?
1821.
All right, man.
Yep. Tell them about that policy. Tell them where they can shove it. Constitution. Tell them America on the way out. This is America 1, commies 0. It's a beautiful thing. Nice try, guys. Nice try.
I have the list over there.
Oh, yeah.
I know the top part, but I don't.
All right, guys, this final segment says everything. The citizen gathers the officers' names and badge numbers, reminding them, and everyone watching, that accountability matters. He makes it clear that policy-based enforcement against protected speech will not stand. As he leaves, the message is unmistakable. This is America, where rights are not permissions granted by government employees. This encounter perfectly exposes a growing problem. Law enforcement prioritizing feelings over facts, comfort over constitutional duty. But it also highlights the solution: educated citizens who refuse to surrender their rights. This is why recording matters. This is why knowing the Constitution matters. And this is why channels like this exist, to shine a light on abuses, educate the public, and remind government officials who they actually work for. Always record, always stay calm, and never forget your rights.